You're listening to the Second Time Watches podcast with your host, OJ the OG.
Hey, this is OJ the OG from Second Time. I'm here with my very good friend, Sophy Rindler. Welcome, Sophy.
Thank you, OJ. So nice to see you.
Yeah. And for our listeners, Sophy is joining us. She recently has joined Chrono 24. Why don't you tell us the title? The paper's still wet, right? The cards are still wet?
It is. As a director of partnerships and industry relations.
Sounds
so
very
it's like
important.
a very pompous title, right? But essentially, it's about building up the brand in the U.S. mostly, but also globally with the perception all over the industry and helping build the U.S. market.
Welcome.
Thank you.
We're super excited to have you on here. And so before joining Chrono 24, you were at eBay.
I was, yes. I was at eBay for 5 years. Which
5 years from COVID, but you joined eBay prior to COVID, right?
Absolutely. No, during COVID.
During COVID. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was a great opportunity.
Talk about baptism by fire.
I know, right? But that was great because everything was remote back then, and eBay is
and
based
all
in
eyes were on
California.
eBay and Chrono 24
Yes.
and the internet.
Absolutely, and that's when the watch market blew up.
Yeah.
So that was really
Totally,
a great time
100%.
to start that venture and to build a new category essentially on eBay because watches were always selling, but it was never really managed, and it was a little bit of everything was happening there. So when the management decided to really take control over it, it was actually the perfect time because that's when they were selling at the best prices, and it was now authenticated, and everybody knows the rest.
And to see the number of watch listings that have grown on both eBay and Chrono 24, just week over week, year over year, and just looking back pre-COVID to post-COVID, it's a pretty startling number of new watches. There's a lot more watches out there now than there ever was.
There is definitely massive growth, and sometimes I'm wondering who is buying all these watches, because I see the sales. It's really happening. It's real, and it's incredible, like the numbers that we're seeing.
Thank God they're buying watches.
I know.
Right?
Yeah.
But you've only been in the watch business like 12 years, and yet you're like ubiquitous in social media and in a lot of print and things as being, a diehard watch enthusiast. I always say every superhero has a great origin story. You're my superhero, Sophy.
Where's my cape?
Exactly. Where is your cape?
I need
you
a
didn't bring
cape.
it? Uh-oh. We're going to have to get you a cape.
Yeah, it really started by accident, you know, like all the best stories. The best inventions, they all happened by accident. I actually am a psychologist by training. So that was what I went to school for. And when I moved to the US, I was in the medical field for about 10 years. And
that's right. You were working for a plastic surgeon?
Right, yeah. And you can see, if you really dig into my LinkedIn way back, you will see some of that.
3 pages back.
And that was great. It was a great way for me to put into practice what I wanted to do, which was really being present for the patient and helping them make the decision and being there throughout their journey. But at some point, I started my own company, and it didn't work out for many reasons. And that led me to meet my neighbor next door, who was a jeweler. And she had
And you were living in Miami at this point?
Yeah, I was in Miami.
Right.
I was in
So this is probably circa 2010-ish?
Exactly,
okay.
yeah. Around 2010. I met my neighbor. She's a jeweler. She's from Venezuela. She also speaks French, so because I was born and raised in Paris, in case.
Of course.
People
oui.
didn't know. Oui.
Oui. J'ai étudié pour 4 ans in l'école primaire.
You almost sound Canadian here.
There's no accent. It's Midwest. I don't know what to tell you.
And so she had opened a jewelry store, really close by, and she introduced me to a friend of hers whose daughter was in the watch business in Venezuela. And it was really interesting because I didn't know anything about watches. I knew about watches by being French and raised in Paris.
Sure.
So, of course, you're surrounded by the brands, by luxury, by stores. You know about that, but you don't know what a watch really is. Like, you know the names, you know the image, you know the prestige, but that's pretty much it. And when she and I started working together...
But at this point, you'd never owned a Rolex, a Cartier, or a fancy
So I was always
luxury
into
watch.
watches since my youngest age. Like as a little girl, whenever I had like pocket money, I would save it and I would buy a watch.
Oh, yeah?
And it was usually like really like, I don't know. I don't even
Were
know.
they digital watches or like costume watches?
No. They were more like, they were on the smaller side, like a little Cartier style, like you would see today, like the Panther, but made in China with a no brand. I remember when I first went to the U.S., it was an exchange trip when I was 8. Right. So I went to New York. It was an exchange travel with another school in the U.S. And we had that one field trip to New York City. And I will never forget the pride I had when we went to see the Statue of Liberty. There was this guy, which you see now in Chinatown everywhere, this guy that was having a rug on the floor.
Oh, yeah, the blanket on the streets of New York.
With all these watches. I saw a watch there that I really liked, and it was a Gucci watch with the big G.
Yeah, with the green and red.
No, it was gold with a white dial. Uh-huh. But it was the bezel was the G.
Yeah,
that was going in.
Sure.
I didn't know what Gucci was, so I didn't buy it for the brand. I had no idea what it was. I just saw that, and I had never seen anything like this. And with the little money I had to bring back souvenirs for my family, I bought myself
a fake Gucci watch.
That fake Gucci watch, which I had no idea what it was, and I still have it.
No kidding.
I kept it as a relic,
That's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. So I've always been into watches. So when I met this woman from Venezuela, my age, she was looking for someone to help her out with languages because she didn't speak anything but Spanish. She saw I had like several languages in my bag. I speak obviously French and English and Italian and Spanish. Wow. So we started talking about working together, and I had no idea of the nature of the watch business. I didn't know anything about it. I had no watch knowledge, and I didn't know the watch business. So she pretty much taught me everything. The good thing is that she already had a database of clients because Venezuela was a country that had a lot of money. A lot of those Venezuelans were living all over the world. Her mother was someone that was very well known in Caracas in the watch, I would say, what we call today gray market. Like she was buying from retailers at a discount and was selling to her clients. So she was quite, reputable. And we started working together. She introduced me to some sellers in different areas. So you were like the interpreter,
basically.
I was the interpreter. I was the negotiator also because, obviously if you negotiate in different languages, you need to be able to do this. So that I knew how to do because I'm a Jew. So you know how to do these things. I can say it if I'm a Jew.
Right.
Exactly. I wouldn't say that if it was...
Those Jews, they really know how to do business, let me tell you.
If I wasn't a Jew, I might not have said that. But we started working together. She introduced me to some sellers. I learned about different brands that I didn't know. She gave me a little bit of an education, but it was more geared towards sales and less towards horology. And the reason I'm saying that is because thanks to that first exposure to the business, that's what led me to really building my horological knowledge and my actual passion for what a watch represents.
Right. So in the same way that Panerai I always considered to be my baptism into the watch business, right? You have a similar brand that you had. Like I always call it the girl that brought me to the dance.
Exactly.
Right? And who was your girl that brought you to the dance?
My girl, well, in my case, my man was Piaget.
Piaget.
Yeah, Piaget.
And it's such an old money brand.
To me, it's a little sad. I don't know why this brand is not a lot more popular and loved.
Yeah.
Because
it's
it
class.
has so much to go for. Like this is a brand that has 30 patents.
Yeah. In fact, we have on the website right now a Piaget ultra thin white dial tuxedo
First
watch,
one. Like no one has
ultra
done that before.
Thin, that thing, and that is the movement. Like you know the story, right? Because there were like 7 companies, a consortium that came together to put together that ultra-thin movement, which is the basis of the AP Royal Oak ultra-thin, and their perpetual calendars were all built on top of that.
Yeah.
Same thing as the Jaeger ultra-thin.
Yeah.
All the Richmond
ultra-thins.
Those are all based on a movement that was jointly developed, and Piaget was part of that team.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, it is cool. And that's what's always given me a level of respect for Piaget.
Yeah,
and
Piaget is pioneer in many ways.
Old money. It's like Academy Award money. It's like, You know, like that's what I think of with Piaget. It's just like, you know, this kind of stodgy, old money kind of brand.
And you're right. It has a little bit of a dusty image, but they also have amazing jewelry. Absolutely stunning. Like I fell in love with
and
that
that's
too.
probably why I sold less Piaget than other brands, because it is sort of a more of a female facing with their jewelry. In the same way the Cartier is more of a female jewelry brand.
But you know, long story short, the reason Piaget was my my man on, how do you say
The girl
that?
you brought to the dance.
Yeah, is because when I went to Paris with my then partner Jennifer, the Venezuelan girl, we went to the store, and she saw a watch in the window that she knew one of her clients would love. So we walked in and started buying that watch, negotiating with the store manager, who became a really good friend. And then we bought a secondary watch for that same client, which
And these were
made
big
us,
watches,
they were
right?
big watches. They
These
were
were-
like high complication tourbillon, black tie, tourbillon, flying tourbillon as well for the second one.
Over $100,000 watch.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that put us in a position with the brand of being VIP clients. So they invited us to Switzerland. And even though I grew up in France, I had never been to Switzerland before. And we were invited by Piaget to their VVIP event hosted at La Réserve, and to go visit their factories. And they have two different ones. And that's when everything happened for me. Because when I went to visit the first manufacturer that was really all about the movement and the horology side of it, not the design and CAD and all of that. It was really the mechanics. It was really the mountain surrounded factory with the windows placed in a way that the sun
So
will
they can
hit
see the
as
cows
late
when they're
as
working.
possible. It's not just the cows. It's actually based on the position of the sun. Like they need it in the winter because the sun sets so early.
Right.
The way that those factories back then were designed was that the windows were facing west so that they were having sun as late as possible during the winter months. But I thought it was so romantic and
'Cause
beautiful.
it was based on apprentice. It was based on
It was
intergenerational
based on history.
like knowledge that was passed.
Yeah, exactly. And it was history. It was passion. Like you could see that it was a generational thing where I saw a father and son there working together. And I thought it was beautiful. But more than that, I realized that the amount of work that goes into a watch is nothing I was expected. I didn't realize that you needed so many people to create one watch, so many different ateliers, so many different skills. Like this woman was only doing placing jewels on the movement and tiny little screws, and then it was passed on to the next one that was doing the follow-up. And I met this one watchmaker who was the one watchmaker that made the tourbillon of the flying tourbillon we had bought. And it was a watch number 9. He knew exactly which one it was. And he told us, had I gotten sick, that watch production would have stopped because nobody else could work on that cage and that tourbillon because I have my own print on my hand. Like my hand works a certain way. I have a certain amount of pressure, whatever it is that the hand does.
And all the tools were adjusted for all of that. And
It's almost like it's a personal object. Like only this hand. It's like a piano player has his style of playing. Nobody can play exactly like that piano player. The melody might be the same.
yeah.
But the way that the touch goes onto the keys is different. And only a very trained ear would hear that.
Sure.
But in that case, it would be the same thing. And I thought it was fascinating to meet these people and to learn about what watchmaking really was. So that was a beautiful experience. And when I left Switzerland after learning all of this, geopolitical changed. So Chavez died. And then Maduro took over.
And then your whole Venezuelan connection.
That was gone.
Gone.
Like, they were gone.
And,
Like,
and just
so I had to kind of reinvent myself because we didn't have that database of clients anymore.
so your Venezuela connection blows up.
Blows up.
What's next?
But in the meantime, I had gotten bitten by the bug. So now I want to learn.
Sure.
And I started meeting real experts that brought me to the next level of knowledge, where it was really deep and relevant, you know, where it was not about selling a watch. It was about understanding it, talking about it.
Yeah. And that's the experience.
It's the
you know?
experience.
It's the experience. And, you know, like you can call it luxury, you can put any, but at the end of the day, it's what kind of experience was it? You know, was it back alley abortion style, a la 47th Street? Or, you know, was it wine and champagne and cheese? Or was it meeting at Starbucks? But, you know, I always say whatever, wherever, whatever, it's still about the energies.
It is.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's what I love about watches, because it really is like that energy.
It really is. And the community around it.
Yeah.
So what was unique about my case was that I was a woman. I was Franco-American. So I started building something also unique in Geneva called the Watches Art Gallery, with one of the people that I met online, who was one of these experts in watches, French guy. And our goal was to democratize and to bring watches to the public in a way that you would do it with a painting or a sculpture or anything that represents art. Remove the intimidation factor of a retailer
and make it accessible.
And make
without
it
necessarily having to own it.
Exactly.
Because you look at the watch in the case and it's like, I don't know, that's fine, I don't know. But when you actually get to experience it, it's a whole nother thing.
Yeah, so
entirely.
we created this concept where independent watchmakers, so we had to go to all the independent watchmakers, which was really, my training was with the independents.
Yeah.
So I really started high end, because there is nothing like an independent watch in the mainstream brands. Like it's something that is so special, and the production level is very small.
And this is before you had like the micro brands.
Oh, way before.
With the Salida movement.
Yeah. No, these guys, we're talking about
making every single part, but you know, this is the Kerry Voutlands.
Exactly. I was about to say, like Kari Voutilainen, Ludovic Balouard, Frédéric Jouvenot, and brands that today don't exist anymore, that were absolutely magnificent. And so we created this almost like consortium of independent brands with the watchmakers. Like the goal was for the watchmakers to actually bring their art to the public, and created a gallery where people could come and enjoy watches and learn about it. But eventually it became very difficult for me to do this because I had young children at home. I had to travel to Switzerland all the time.
Right. And so was this Watches
Art Gallery.
Watches Art Gallery. Was it like an authorized dealer?
No.
Or an authorized
in a way, yes, but it was just independent brands. So
was this Grubel Forsey? Were they in this?
Not yet.
Not yet.
We did know them very well. I believe in one of the exhibitions, maybe the last one we did have. One or two, but Debetun was definitely there. Moser was also part of those brands. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was crazy. It was so amazing to discover all these brands.
About Erwerk, were they there?
Yes, they were.
I remember Watches Art Gallery, with Felix Baumgarten,
But for me, it was very humbling, because I met geniuses, and I was someone that didn't know anything, and the willingness they had to actually show me. So one day, fast forward, 2016, it's the last year of the WAG, of the Watches Art Gallery. We know that it's not going to continue just because it didn't make any more sense financially, because you had the buyers base that we had, like all these collectors. They were not Swiss. They were coming from India, from China, from Arab countries, but they were having their money in banks that was generating dividends every quarters. So they would come in with their private jet, whatever, and get their check, celebrate with a watch downstairs in the cool little boutique that
they used to buy with their interest.
Used to buy, exactly. When the bank transparency started and banks had to declare to the other countries, well, one of your resident has or citizen has an account with us.
Sure.
All these bank accounts were closed.
Sure.
And all these people took their money and left.
Yeah.
And they invested elsewhere. So the business model didn't work. Like, we didn't have the buyers. The actual people from Geneva were not buying watches that way. And I meet someone in the U.S., from the U.S. His name is Andrew Block.
Andrew Block from Tourneau.
Who does not know Andrew?
From Tourneau.
Yes.
He's an old timer, man. He's been in the watch business since probably, well, I've been in the watch business since 2000. Was he in the watch business before that?
Before, yeah.
I think so, too.
I think so.
He might have been like 95.
Yeah. He was one of the...
By the way, you do know what Andrew Block's company name is, don't you?
SecondTime Partners.
So I'm Second Time Trading.
I was part of it,
DBA
actually,
Second
at some
Time,
point.
but
Yeah.
I
was one
thought
of
that
the
was
partners
pretty
of
funny.
SecondTime Partners.
I thought that was pretty funny.
It was really funny, yes.
Second Time! Woo! Okay, so 2016, you met Andrew Block.
I meet Andrew Block. He comes to the gallery. We start talking. He saw what I was doing in Switzerland offline. And because he's very smart and very fast thinking, he just immediately saw the potential of bringing all of that business online in the US. So they were building a pavilion, a brand boutique, where actual brands would sell full retail price to the consumers, which was very difficult to imagine. The fact that Swiss brands had zero respect for digital.
Sure.
They saw that
100%.
as an equity liability.
Yeah, it's a value diminisher.
To them, it cheapened the brand. It's
Yeah.
To consumer who was buying online was not going online to buy full retail price.
Sure.
You would
Yeah,
go
why
to
would
a
y'all do
store.
that? Yeah, exactly.
So why would you go online to buy full retail? The point of being online is to get a deal.
Sure.
And 3, the retailers in the US also started to be a little less enthusiastic about these brands.
Well, yeah, because
they were too expensive and they didn't sell well.
Yeah.
Here it was different because we're talking about independent brands with very small production that did not have representations in stores because you didn't have many retailers that were ready to invest in these brands because they were hard to sell.
Yeah.
It was not a good time for independents.
No,
so
not at all.
When I came into True Facet, the goal was to really get them into the households of all Americans through digital. And we actually did it. It worked. But our goal was to help these brands get visibility in the US.
Build awareness.
Because they couldn't do it with retailers. And also the US is such a big country. It's so expensive for a brand, a small Swiss brand, to develop the US.
Sure.
You have states that have maybe 4 big cities where they have retailers, but the rest of the state is massive and there's nothing.
Sure.
And you have housewives that are going to the PTA meetings and they are all blinged up. And where do they get their watches? They can't really go to a store because it's like 300 kilometers or whatever it is in miles. I still don't know a conversion in miles and kilometers after all these years. But it was actually a very interesting concept because you didn't have a lot of businesses like this back then.
No. Like I said,
And
you
then
had
they started
Real. That
popping
was
up.
it.
Yeah.
That was like from a consignment and from an aggregation
eBay was there
perspective.
too.
Of course, you had eBay Chrono 24.
Yeah. You did
sure.
have like the OGs. So True Facet ended up selling. They exited.
They did. Okay.
Yeah.
Were you part of that exit?
No.
No.
I was. I was part of. I was there when it happened.
But you didn't get any of the action.
I got nothing. I don't think anyone got much anyway. But it was still an amazing learning experience. And when they...
So they're based out of New York.
Yes.
Yeah. And you're in Miami.
Yeah. So I was going to New York like regularly.
Uh-huh.
And when they exited, I was kind of like, okay, what's going to happen next? And that's when, during True Facet already, I had started my own venture of my own brand with a business partner in Texas. Mm-hmm. So we launched it in 2017, which is when I was at True Facet. So after True Facet, I really was totally immersed in Tucker. And then
Tucker watches. Are they still around?
No, sadly.
They're gone.
Yeah, we had to retire the brand. It was so many things. I started working at eBay, a lifetime opportunity. Imagine like a French girl, even though I'm now more or as American as I'm French, but still, working for one of the biggest companies in the U.S., It was such an accomplishment.
And in the handbag and watches space, because they're very intertwined,
and
right?
Jewelry, yeah.
The jewelry, handbags, and watches are almost treated as one.
Yes,
right?
it was the division, was the luxury division. Mm-hmm. But the reason I managed to get in was because Tirath, who was the founder of True Facet, was actually hired by eBay to run the department, to run the division, to run the luxury division. And essentially build the whole authentication process.
Sure.
So I started with this more like on a consulting basis, and then I got in full time for another 4 years.
That was a hell of a run.
That was really
That was a
great.
hell of a run. If you look at their, like I said,
Yeah.
as far as luxury watches and their luxury watch business and their luxury goods and the way
It was great.
set
And I
themselves
learned
apart.
so much because I didn't know anything about corporate world. It was a new experience to me. And I learned that I learned about myself in the process that I was actually a lot more built for this than I thought I was. I thought I was much more like a social butterfly, which I am. But then I realized that I actually was very interested in the way things worked. And then change of leadership, my manager left, Rath left, a new manager came in. So she decided to eliminate my role, which was completely very difficult. It was
that's
the
not very
first time I experienced something like this.
First time you've been fired?
Yeah, I was not ready for it, but they gave me the tools and the possibility to take the time to bounce back.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Switzerland a week later, and that's where I met Jose and at the time the CEO of Chrono24.
That was Tim?
No, it was Karsten.
Mm-hmm.
And we really hit it off. Like it was almost like,
So
wow.
this was in months of you
A
ending-
week.
A week?
A week.
What brought you to Switzerland? You weren't in the...
I
no one
was
paid for you to go to
supposed-
Switzerland, right?
No, I wasn't. So I was supposed to go to Switzerland with eBay because we had a whole event organized there that I was actually leading. And of course, eBay told me, sorry, we're not going to pay for your trip. You're not part of the company anymore.
Wow.
And it was also Geneva Watch Days following that event.
Sure.
I know my network is there, and I'm not going to go as the eBay person. I'm going to go as Sophy Rindler that is now selling herself.
Sure.
Like I need to build myself up. I need people to know what's going on, and I need people to know that I am like ready to do something different.
Good for you.
And I went, and
Good for you.
it was
That's
great.
awesome.
Yeah, I had support from the organizers of the Luxury Innovation Summit, Dipendra, who's an amazing person. I had one of my closest friends in Switzerland, Fabienne Lupo, who was the head of FHH for 20 years, who opened her door to me. So I stayed with her because, like getting a hotel in Geneva
Oh
a
my
week
gosh.
before
Forget
Geneva
it.
Watch
Yeah.
Days, forget
Oh
about
my
it. There
gosh.
was no way. So I was very lucky to have that support system there that allowed me to go and not to feel like I was completely pressured
Right.
financially.
Uh-huh. Wow.
And that's where I met Chrono24 and other entities. I had
Yeah.
many conversations. And this one.
So within 30
continued.
days of being canned by eBay,
Yeah.
you're picked up by the largest online watch company on the planet.
Isn't it crazy? I'm telling you, like sometimes, I've always said everything happens for a reason. And when it happens to you, you tend to kind of like, yeah, everything happens for a reason, but still, it's not cool. But at the end of the day, it did.
Wow. That's a great story.
Yeah. And I'm very happy. It's a fantastic team. Company is amazing. And, they're German. So for me, I was a little worried, because Germans tend to be very, very tough and
Little
structured,
rigid. Little rigid.
And it turns
a little.
out, but it turns out that the culture at Chrono24 is actually the most human and caring that I could have imagined.
I've been selling on Chrono24 since like 2012, and I've been selling on eBay since 2000.
Good for you.
2000.
Wow.
Dial-up AOL modem and those
Wow,
AOL
it's like
discs.
almost the
Yeah.
beginning of, I think eBay
Yeah.
was created in 97.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And I even sold watches to the venture capital guys that took eBay public.
Wow,
Yeah.
look at you.
Yeah, yeah,
You're really the OG. Like you're
I'm
not
really
joking.
the OG. Listen, when there were like 2 Panerai items on eBay, I was on eBay. Literally, can you imagine typing in Panerai on eBay and having 2 items show up? Right, one was a book that I was selling, and one was like a hat that I was selling. Like,
Wow, that's crazy.
that was
So-
it. That was the early 2000s.
So you're a paneristi.
I'm a Paneristi. That's like I said. That's the girl that brought me to the dance.
I love it.
Now we're going to talk about your watches because you've been into watches now for, we'll just call it 15 years.
Okay.
Let's see
Well,
your
that's-
journey. Where did it where would you say the first what would you say is the first substantial watch
Yeah.
you ever purchased? You have that
The
with you?
first substantial watch is actually the first watch.
The first watch.
That I
This
actually,
is ground zero.
It is.
This is an AP.
It's an AP.
Rose gold royal oak with diamond bezel. That's spectacular.
Yes, yeah.
Did you buy that used or new?
So believe it or not, I didn't buy it.
Oh, even better.
Jennifer,
Yeah.
when I was starting with her,
Your Venezuelan connect.
yeah, she told me, you need to have a very good watch because that's going to be your key to enter the industry. And then she literally gave it to me.
Wow. That's
so
amazing.
my first watch, and
That's
she,
great.
I felt like she was lending it to me, to wear,
Sure.
so I would open the doors. But no, she actually told me, this is your watch. This is how you're going to get in.
Wow.
So yeah, that's.
And you have the box and papers for it too?
I do not.
Just the watch?
But if you look at it, the bracelet is not a Royal Oak bracelet.
Yeah, it's an offshore bracelet.
It's an offshore bracelet.
It's the fat, chunky one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and
this
that's
is
how it
probably
came.
like
So it
circa-
was already changed when I got
look how fat
it.
those links are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Heavy duty.
It's the real deal.
Yeah.
And it's already been designated by my daughter as her next.
No
her,
kidding?
this one goes to her.
Oh,
Yes,
wow.
100%.
So I just got to marry a good guy.
Yeah.
Right? All right, next watch.
Next one is the Rolex Daytona.
Yeah, the Rolex Daytona.
But it has a twist because it's
Okay.
not a normal Rolex Daytona. It has a red chrono hand.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
It's got a red seconds hand, a red chronograph hand.
So the story behind this watch is that I had done a business deal that went horribly, and I lost a lot of money in Italy, in San Marino.
And on it was a watch deal?
It was a watch deal. So that deal was horrible. I'm still in actually my lawsuit with them is still active, and I did win everything. So now I'm waiting
So
to
you
be
were going to
paid.
invest in this store
Yeah.
and own half
And
of
inventory,
the store?
yeah.
And pay for the inventory?
Yes, and that store was
And they were an authorized
was
dealer?
a shell. It was
Oh,
like
really?
everything was fake, everything.
No kidding.
And the guy was a total crook. Anyway, long story short, the whole thing collapsed. And now I want to be paid because I have invested so much money. So I managed to get some of my money back with merchandise and a little bit of money as well. But I was still under $500,000. Like that's how much I lost. Yeah, it was crazy. This watch was one of the payments I received for the money I had lost. And that watch, when I got it, was from a brand that I don't even know if it still exists called Black Venom.
Oh.
And Black Venom was
They
a
were a
brand
customizer.
from the Italians
Yeah?
in Riccione that were totally customized. They were the black watches. So that
Right.
watch was all black.
It was.
All black.
It was all DLC'd out or PVD'd or whatever.
DLC, a dial that was just awful. Everything was transformed. But I got that watch, and I hated that the dial had paint that was literally dripping from the sub-dials, from the chrono. And I could see it, and it was driving me nuts. And I met someone who was in that business, like literally building watches and fixing them and transforming them. And he told me, I'll take care of that watch for you. He cleaned the entire watch. You see, it's over polished. The dial was replaced as well because that I couldn't stay with the dial the way it was. So I have a friend, Artisan de Genève.
Oh, Artisans de Genève put the red hand on there?
The red hand was original from the customized, but I left the red hand because I really wanted. It just had something that I liked about it, matching the Daytona.
Sure.
And it has the watch has its own handle on Instagram. It's hashtag
really?
Red Hand Daytona.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Red hand Daytona. Wow. That's pretty cool. It's so crazy because, like, this watch will last for the next how many years? Like, and we're, it's a 25-year-old watch, give or take. And it's going to last for another 200 years.
Yeah.
From something bad came something pretty cool that will last a hell of a lot longer.
To me, it's the coolest watch.
And you probed learned a couple good lessons out of that.
Oh, yes. I did.
Yeah, we always do.
I'm still waiting for payment.
You want to give him a shout out? Tell him to call you. That's a great story, though, and a Daytona. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, number 3.
And number 3, I had to bring a talker.
The
because,
talker. So what's the origin of the name talker?
It was based on TikTok.
Okay.
Like, not TikTok, the platform, but like the TikTok of a watch.
Okay. All right.
Because TikTok didn't exist.
Right.
Back then.
Because this is he started this in what? 2010?
We started it in 16.
16.
And
okay.
we launched it in 17. Took about a year to build the brand.
It was like one of the first micro brands.
It was. We were really part of the first wave of micro brands, and we did really well. We were sold at Neiman Marcus,
Wow.
which was quite an accomplishment.
What was their production level?
We were doing about 100 to 200, about 100 watches a year.
100 watches a year.
Yeah, sometimes a little more depending on the collection.
It's tough to make money at 100 watches a year.
It's so hard. And it costs so much
And
money.
so this retailed for how much?
This one was a limited series. It was the D-Day watch, which actually got a lot of press because we partnered with an organization in Texas that was, Breitling actually did that after us, that owned the plane that flew over Normandy, and that was actually the lead of the squad.
No kidding.
Yeah, and the name of the plane was That's All Brother, which was a message to Hitler.
That's all, brother?
That's all, brother.
Oh, okay.
Like, we're coming in.
Oh, interesting.
And so that organization had the plane. They actually renovated the plane, and they had spare parts from that plane, but like pieces of metal that was actually in Normandy with bullet impacts, with all kinds of things on them that they couldn't leave because that plane was supposed to fly for the 75th anniversary of D-Day back to Normandy. So it had to be in pristine condition. We made a deal with them. We got that metal, and we made unique dials from the metal of the plane. This is the metal of the original That's All Brothers plane.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And each dial was different.
What's that underneath the hands? What is that?
The scratch. Because that's part, and some of them are messed up. And my favorite ones are the ones that are the most messed up.
So the dial is also made from the plane materials too?
It is. Just the dial
so just
only.
the dial is from the plane. Oh, I thought maybe the case. Okay.
No.
So just the dial is from the plane?
So if you look at the collection.
And is this the natural paint that was on the plane?
Yes. Yeah. That's
really?
that was the green.
That's that navy green plane. Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
shit.
And some dials had all kinds of things on them, like this piece of paint removed, and we had different choices when people were buying the watch. They could choose between the clean dial, between the...
And they were all green like this?
All of them. Some were gray because, with
came from different parts
times,
of the plane
or because of the impact that they received.
That's all, brother. Yeah, that's all, brother.
Yeah. And it was an amazing adventure because we met veterans that were actually flying those planes. Behind this one,
wow.
We gave a watch to one of them that we met who died 6 months later of old age.
Really?
And it was so emotional, and we learned so much about history.
Airplane on the second hand.
Yeah.
So how many of these are still around?
We sold out. Yeah, that was really an amazing time for Tucker. It was really cool.
Sophie, thank you so much for sharing your story with us.
You're welcome.
For
Thank
giving
you for
us your
having
time,
me.
of course, pun intended. And we loved having you, and we're going to have you on again because I want to hear about your journey with Chrono 24.
Yes.
And I want to hear all new stories.
I'm looking forward to it. Thank you for having me. It was so fun. I love to do this.
We loved having you.
This is great.
We loved having you.